During this exercise, we are going to take a look at working with a three-dimensional CAD graphics file. We're going to begin on page 1-20 in our manual, where we'll create a data file out of 3D spot shots and two-dimensional break lines. The pages that we'll be looking at in the manual will be 1-20 to 1-22. We've got a new data set at this point that we're going to be working with, and that data set's located in our Data Geo Site DTM 3D Underbar Data folder. And in there we have our design file, base.dgn. And that's the file we'll be working with. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Power Civil, and I'm going to navigate to that correct folder where my base.dgn file is and open that up. This is a three-dimensional CAD file, as you can tell from the top, and we've got spot shots in there, and we've also got break line information. If I look at a particular spot shot, I can see that it has a correct X, Y, and Z value. If I look at a break line, for example, some of them have the correct X, Y, and Z, and some of them do not. So therefore, I'm going to extract the break lines by interpolating their elevation. Several of these tools we've stepped through before, and in particular the extract graphics tool. And that's where I'm going to start. The first thing I'm going to do is extract the spot shots into a DAT file. I'm just going to accept the default name here. I'm going to create, based on spots that I extract, a DAT file. I'm going to toggle on the level names and the types. I'm going to click the match button, and I'm going to select one of these plus signs that represents the spot shot. I'm going to accept it with an additional data point, and it'll fill in the level names and the types. And you can see that it's found it as text. I'm going to go ahead and hit Fit View so that I can see all the spot shots that are there, and I'll click Apply. I also could set it to ASCII just so we could double check, and I'll go ahead and do the same thing again, but this time I'll overwrite that file. And if I want, I could look at the DAT file and view the information that came across, so I can see the X, the Y, and the Z information. Now that I've got the spot shot information, I'm going to go ahead and extract the two-dimensional break lines. So I'm going to append to this DAT file with breaks, and I want to interpolate, because I do not have the correct Z value on the line itself. I need to set the mode to interpolation. Now the spot criteria should pretty much match what I just extracted. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom back in and pick one of these plus signs, and that'll pick up the spot criteria. Next, I want to tackle the break line information. So I'm going to toggle on level names and colors, and I'm just going to manually set, based on my knowledge of the file, I'm going to set the levels that I need to bring across. So I'm going to bring up break lines edge of pavement and road center line, just by placing a check mark next to that level name. As far as colors, I'm going to choose color 7, 185, 196, and 198. So brake lines that are on those particular levels that have that particular color will come across. Make sure that I fit my view back. Click the display button just to check. Anything that highlights in white as I click display and undisplay will show me the information that we'll be bringing across. So I'm appending with brakes. It's going to read the Z value from the spot closest to the brake line and apply that to the line itself. So finally I'll set the tolerance here to 0.2. I've got everything shown in view 1. I'll click apply and it'll extract and interpolate the information. I can review the DAT file and make sure that at the end it has the brake line information as it does. So you can see that we can take three-dimensional data, bring it in to a DAT file, simply just reading the XYZ, or two-dimensional data by going through a particular line, for example the center line, reading the elevation from the spot nearest the line, but getting the XY from the line itself. And that concludes the DAT file. Next we'll look at building the 10 from this information.